Hello, and welcome to another edition of No Lights Paranormal, where three nerdy paranormal investigators sit down and discuss spooky stories from the web. My name is Joe. I'm the lead investigator.
My name is Teresa, and I'm the researcher.
My name is Alex. I'm the Baba Yaga enthusiast and the equipment setter up Rosie Grew.
And a podcast restarter. So, yes, we're doing South Carolina, my apologies, South Carolina this week, which I thought was actually weirdly interesting. And yeah, found some interesting stuff on there. So, yeah.
I had a lot of fun with South Carolina. This one was a good one, and I originally had picked a story that I wanted to do, but then I found this other one that I thought was just friggin' amazing. So,
Okay. All righty. So, she's probably got two stories.
No, just one.
That are 94 pages long.
Just one, and it's only half that.
Okay. So I don't think we have any announcements to get out of the way. Nothing happening in Ohio.
No.
Okay. Because I remember you said that you wanted to start giving announcements for the Ohio thing if anything was happening within the month. But yeah, all right.
It is true. I will definitely hit on that before we end.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, all right, let's jump into it. Who wants to go first?
I think I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have 5 minutes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
20.
Yeah. So.
Right. So I'm actually covering the story of the legend of the Gray Man.
Ooh. Okay.
So there are many, many variations to this legend, but the most common is that this man is actually, and unfortunately I didn't get a name. So
Dorian Gray.
Exactly. He was this dates clear back to 1822, mind you, a cloaked figure who roams the beach at Pauly's Island and, catch the shit, has predicted accurately all major storms and hurricanes off the South Carolina coast for the last 200 years.
What's the accuracy in it?
It's real.
No. Like, has every single one of them's come true?
Everyone. We'll name just a couple.
1,000 there.
But then I'm sorry. I guess it's been almost 300 years now. But anyway. So this boy was a young man who was actually in the war. He was in World War II. And he returned. No, I'm sorry. What didn't say once. Anyway, point to the story. Young man was returning home, got off of a ship. He had his right-hand man with him, who actually was a former slave who had then been freed and was now just sort of like his guy. It was his buddy. Okay. So they were on horseback and they were riding home, and he decided to take a shortcut home to he was basically trying to get back to his fiancée so that they could get married and life would be happily ever after. So they decided to take a shortcut, and they went across a marshy section on Pauly's Island, which I guess is still there to this day. So they're riding, and the sun begins to set, and then all of a sudden we kind of get into like a never-ending story moment where him and his horse get bogged down in quicksand, and it pretty promptly starts dragging the horse under clear up to its knees, which of course causes it to freak out. He gets thrown off of the horse, and in this crazy struggle, he actually ends up passing away in this quicksand situation.
Okay.
So, of course, his guy, rides as quick as he can back to the house to explain to everybody what had happened. Holy crap, this sucks. Obviously, his fiancée was absolutely devastated. So, she would very regularly, after this happened, go down and walk the stretch of beach on Pauly's Island where they spent a lot of time before he had left. And they, just walking the beach and seeing, the ocean and just doing what people do. Only now she was doing it on her own. And one day she's walking along the beach and she sees a figure not too far from her. And it is a man wearing a very, very familiar suit that she recognizes. So she just keeps walking nearer to him. She's not actually walking towards him, but just in that direction. And as she gets closer and closer, she realizes that she 100% knows this man. This is her fiancé, whom passed away. And he definitely is gone for sure. But she rushes up to him once she realizes who it is And he puts his hands on her shoulders and he warns her that her and her family need to get away from the beach, like far away, get inland. So she doesn't know exactly what's going on. Obviously, she's pretty scared and confused. So she rushes back to the house and she tells, in shock, her entire family what had happened. Well, despite the fact that they were like, that's absolutely insane. He's dead. There's no possible way he spoke to you. They decided to go ahead and heed the warning anyway. So they went ahead and packed up and they went inland to visit some family.
That's the first time I've heard of
Listening?
They don't do that. Just
The-
call bullshit.
Very soon after, within 24 hours afterwards, and mind you, they didn't have like weather scenarios and things back then. So yeah, a very, very powerful hurricane came through and completely devastated the entire coastline, including the island. And the only home that was left untouched within several hundred blocks of housing was her family's home. Interesting, isn't it?
Well, now it sounds like they didn't have a leak.
I know, right? They didn't have to leave. It was fine.
Just kidding.
There are actually countless other stories. I mean, this is kind of ridiculous. So we can go all the way back to, there was a couple walking the beach when they saw a man waving to get their attention. They equally approached each other and he warned these folks, you have to go, you have to get out of off the island. It's not safe. Get away from the coast. Hurricane Florence hit. Absolutely devastated the coast.
Yeah.
There are so many more. So even just, there was a guy who was out on his boat and he was actually a fisherman. So he was out fishing and he saw a man on the beach frantically waving his arms at him. So he came in from the water and docked his boat and was like looking for this man. He couldn't find the guy. The guy completely disappeared. But as he was like, trying to figure out who this guy was, this massive, massive thunderstorm rolled in that would have just completely ravaged his boat. This was not an example of a hurricane, but same idea. Super powerful storm. So there have been so many hurricanes that hit the South Carolina coast.
Another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there have actually been 44 tropical cyclones that have made landfall, hit the coast directly. 4 of these were major category 3+ hurricanes. There was the Great Charleston Hurricane in 1893. That is the one that was predicted by him that devastated the island. Would have ended up potentially killing his fiance and family. Hurricane Hazel of 1954 was one of them. Hurricane Gracie, Hurricane Hugo. It goes on and on and on. And the one common denominator is that the people who live in that area will tell you that when a storm is fixing to head in, you will see this gray man walking the beach. And if you get close to him, he will warn you that a hurricane or a very, very bad storm, they didn't know hurricane back then, a very bad storm was coming and you need to get inland to stay safe. So, yeah, crazy shit. Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's still doing it to this day.
To the best of my knowledge, just the most recent hurricane to hit South Carolina, I want to say, was Hurricane Hugo in 89. That made
Yes, that was either 88 or 89. That was right after we moved back from.
it made direct landfall. And yes, that was actually the couple that was walking along the beach hand in hand and saw a man waving at them. And when they approached, he said, the weather has turned. You need to get inland. And sure as shit, Hurricane Hugo was on the way.
All right. I'm looking up something here real quick because I had another thought pop into my head. So give me a second.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I thought when you said that he passed away in quicksand.
Yeah.
In the Catawba or York counties, gray clay. It sparked in my head when he got, maybe it was clay down there, and that's why they call him gray, but it was something with Indian culture with gray clay.
I do not know.
That just
It
popped
does.
in my head.
It does
So-
not specify, but that is a super good little titty bit there. It's incredibly possible.
It's an interesting correlation for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something that just popped in my head. I was like, "Oh, I wonder if that's the because that's how I'm fucking."
Oh, and totally apologize. It was 1822 that he was traveling back home to see his fiance.
Never made the trip back.
Unfortunately, no.
Got tripped up.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not. I'm here for it.
Some have actually described him as looking like he looked like a man in a cloak, like a gray cloak. Others said he looked, sort of shaggy like a pirate. But yeah, can't get his name, can't find his name. As far as we know, it's just an urban legend, but...
Urban legends always have a way.
Yeah, for
being
hundreds
written.
of years, people are seeing this man warning of impending storms.
Wow.
So there's something to it.
So the irony to the beginning of that story is that we're all 80s kids.
Mm.
And thanks to a super popular movie around the mid 80s, how many people here had an irrational fear of quicksand?
Oh, you are definitely referring to that movie.
Which I'm drawing a blank on. So if
I
you could fill
don't-
me in, that'd be great.
The reason that I do not have
Never
an
ending story?
Oh, it's yeah, okay.
Yeah. The reason that I do not have a rational fear of quicksand is because I understand what quicksand is, and I just stay the fuck away.
All right. I didn't say I still do. Okay. I'm saying in 1980, whatever the hell that movie came out.
Oh, back in the day, I was like, oh my God.
Like for some reason, I just in my head had it that quicksand was a lot more abundant than what it actually is.
Yeah, like it was
I'm
everywhere.
like, it's everywhere. You got to be careful where you walk.
Like you're going to be going down through the woods one day, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you're just going to get sunk in.
Ooh, an irrational fear.
Yeah, so many.
Some might call that a phobia.
Motivation for that'd be a good round table discussion.
I love my life.
Yeah. No, but that's I'd never had a fear of quicksand. I lived in Ohio.
All I'm saying is back then, I didn't know it wasn't in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really kind of did lead you to believe that you could just be walking through the forest and all of a sudden you're just sucked underground. It was special.
Earthquakes, sinkholes.
Yeah, it was, but they didn't have an earthquake. They had
Phobia, you never go outside.
quicksand.
But yeah, that's interesting. It's actually predicting storms. And what is it with like paranormal things predicting events?
So what you're saying is he was like an accurate Dick Goddard.
Well, we can't.
After Dorothy Fulltime,
Correct. Correct.
which I don't think anybody listening would know that joke but us. So, all right. So, all right. Interesting story, Teresa.
And I didn't take all to tell it.
No, that was a very surprisingly short shot for you.
That means we're going to have fillers. So, all right. You want to go next or you want me to?
Doesn't matter. I got this.
Okay, go ahead.
This is
Oh, I get to go last.
So unlike usual, I actually went with a building this time and not a folklore tale, this or that or whatnot. I spent a year in South Carolina. It was from 87 to 88.
Okay.
And I lived in Charleston, Goose Creek specifically. So I looked up Charleston ghosts because I thought, why not? The Dock Street Theater is a place that I looked up. It's actually located not on Dock Street, but Church Street. And it is also the last Antebellum hotel. The building was originally known as the Planters Hotel and was constructed in 1809 by Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Calder. I like the guy already.
Sure, right?
Got a good, strong name.
Makes sense.
The name of the hotel was an homage to its guests, as most of the people who stayed at the Planters were actually planters during horse racing season. During horse racing season, they would pick up their stuff from the middle of the state, come out, watch the races. After playing the ponies, many of the planters were too tired to trek back home and were otherwise unable to travel the distance. By the 1930s, the Planters Hotel was gone, and the building was in desperate need of repairs. The city stepped in and began the process of restoring the structure. Construction. Okay, so the original theater, the original structure before it was a hotel, was a theater. It was built in the 1730s.
Okay.
The Dock Street Theater was the city's first ever theater, and that was prior to it becoming the Planters Hotel. Apparently, the Planters Hotel was, when it was rebuilt, was actually more like a cluster of old buildings that were already located on the site. So they just kind of repurposed them to their thing. Planters Hotel. Let's see here. Planters Hotel. So 30 years later, in 1809, Planters Hotel was created by the Calders. The building would go through another round of renovations just a little over 25 years later in 1835. It was during this renovation the building received its enduring style, elements of which can still be seen now at the Dock Street Theater. During the glory days of the Planters Hotel, it would play host to theater groups. One of these actors of these theater troupes has a name that might sound familiar. It is Junius Brutus Booth. This Booth was in fact the father of John Wilkes Booth. One popular story told about the elder Booth occurred during his stay at the Planters Hotel around 1838. The events of the story unfolded one night after a performance when, for unknown reasons, Booth became enraged and attacked the hotel's manager, almost killing men. Guess theater folks here temperamental.
That's putting it mild.
Also, I guess it runs in the family, so we'll...
Right.
Let's see here. The fall of Planters Hotel came when it was... A time period would be succeeded by a calamity and unfortunate events. First, the Civil War. Nothing really escaped the war, and Charleston was no exception. After the war, the once luxurious hotel became victim of the city's strongly neglected economy, and then it was also damaged again later in 1886 by the Charleston earthquake.
Tragedy.
Tragedy strikes again and again.
Fickle bitch.
Right.
So, ghosts. The Dock Street Theaters. So, with nearly 350 years of history under its belt, the city of Charleston lays host to countless ghosts. Some of the city's most infamous lost souls can be found at the historic Dock Street Theater. There are two very specific ghosts that generally are seen more often than not. There are more than that, but there are two main ghosts. One of these two specters is believed to be Mr. Booth. No one is quite sure why his ghost is haunting Dock Street Theater, as he was not even in Charleston at the time of passing. He was actually miles away in Louisville, Kentucky.
Interesting. That doesn't correlate.
And aside from performing at the former hotel with his theater troupe and the rumor that he tried to kill the manager of the building, he doesn't really have any strong ties to the building. However, it is plausible that the ghost of another lost soul, maybe another actor, unwilling to leave the spotlight at the stage. Apparently, this is seen around the stage. This guy is seen on the stage a lot in the correct time period clothing. So, hard to tell. Now, before I go into the actual description of the second person that haunts the story, I will tell you the story of the second person that haunts the story. During the Planters' heyday, the hotel was a place where wealthy men of Charleston would congregate. It was a place where they were free to drink copious amounts of alcohol, gamble away a small fortune, and engage in extramarital affairs with prostitutes.
Oh, make it juicy.
Mm-hmm.
Spill that hot tea.
One of these ladies of the night was 25-year-old Nettie. It is believed that young Nettie was a country girl who dreamed of the city life, much like many of them did back then, and arrived in Charleston sometime in the early 1840s. Nettie's reasons for coming to Charleston was to find love and excitement, but unfortunately, Nettie lived in an era where 25 was considered well past the marrying age. Boy, if they were only alive to see today.
You old hag.
Boo.
Yeah, right.
The wealthy men of Charleston were looking for brides who were still in their teens. Creepy Charleston, keep it real.
Yeah.
And they were not interested in marrying someone considered to be a spinster. Aside from Nettie's age, her social status was also a factor. Back in the day, it was very uncommon for people to marry beneath their class, especially in a place like Charleston, which is one of the bigger cities.
Right.
And while many men of Charleston were taking to Nettie's beauty, they were only interested in love, or in lust, not love.
Sounds fitting.
After her dreams of happiness and love were now crushed, Nettie began looking for work. Nettie became a clerk at St. Philip's Episcopal Church. Ironic turn of events there.
Oh, you find God in different ways.
Yeah. She took to the job well and got along well with the priest, but nonetheless, she felt as if she did not belong, and it was impossible for her to compete, and knew she would never be accepted into Charleston's high society. Nettie grew tired of trying to get ahead in Charleston, so she quit her job despite the priest's efforts to sway her from doing so, and went back to the drawing board. With the money she was able to save from her job at the church, she went to one of the most upscale stores in Charleston and bought the most expensive dress they had, a gorgeous red dress that would catch the eye of any man. With her new dress, she entered the Planters Hotel with this very intent. So, back to the whoring board.
High five. You can take the W out of the girl, but no.
No, we're done. We're done.
With her new mindset, looks, and red dress, she adapted well to her, well, it says new profession, but I feel like it's not.
Newish.
Newish. Newly revamped.
Right.
Grand opening.
Grand reopen.
Grand reopening. Still bitter at the society that refused to welcome her, she would continue to go to church every Sunday. All right.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm stuck with that saying in my head, sweatier than a...
Oh, jeez.
It's fine. And whenever one of the women, many of whose husband were Nettie's customers, would cast aspirations or give her an ugly look, she would audaciously confront the woman and her husband. As you can imagine, Nettie's lack of discretion cost her many customers, and she quickly became penniless. Distraught, she snapped. Nettie went out onto the second floor balcony of the Planters Hotel in her red dress and stayed out there despite a brewing storm. She began shouting out disparaging remarks against Charleston's high society, even as the storm intensified. The priest, who still cared for Nettie, rushed out into the street and tried to reason with her. It is said that she hollered down to him, "You can't save me," and as fate would have it, that's when she was struck by a bolt of lightning and died.
That to me is fucking crazy.
God called you bluff.
That's right.
You're right.
So, as you can imagine, the next most popular ghost at the Planters Hotel, well, Dock Street Theater now, is the ghost of Nettie. She is the most frequently spotted ghost at the Dock Street Theater. Some claim that her full name was Nettie Dickerson, while others believed that she was nameless.
Her stage name.
Again, Nettie lived in Charleston during the 1800s and can usually be found at the Planters Hotel. The ghost of Nettie can be seen gliding aimlessly through the Dock Street Theater. Some of those guests who have caught a glimpse of Nettie claim that she wore a tattered yet vibrantly colored red dress.
Walking on sunshine.
Yeah!
You're welcome. You're welcome, listeners. Get that stuck.
So yeah, that's the story of the Dock Street Theater and the Planters Hotel and the story of Nettie. And so to be fair, Dock Street Theater is still around. They still do like theater troupe stuff, like plays and stuff.
Yeah. I'm wondering if like ghosts that pass on that were like theater ghosts, are they carrying on as their characters or really?
That's a great question.
Solid question.
Yeah. It's just,
We should just pull theater kids and find out. If you come back and haunt somebody, would it be as a character or yourself?
Scene 2, Act 1.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Sounds entertaining.
Yeah, I'm really amazed by the fact that she got struck by lightning. That's insane.
Well, after saying you can't save me.
Right.
This guy going, you're right.
To a priest?
Yeah, right. No, it was really guys going, true. Oops.
Oh, sorry.
I can, but I'm not gonna.
Poor Nettie. All right. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead.
It's fair.
So, all right. I'm assuming that's the end of yours.
That's it.
All right. So let's jump into mine. So I'm sure when I read this story, all of the listeners, everybody here at the table, I'm sure you have all experienced that feeling of when you wake up, even though you went to bed at like 9:30, you woke up after about 10, 11 hours sleep and you still feel exhausted.
Generally want to hit my snooze button like 10 or 11 times.
Right. But you just feel lethargic. You feel exhausted. You feel like you have no energy whatsoever. Like the life has literally been zapped out. Well, South Carolina may have the answer for that. It's my boo thing, the Boo Hag. So, yeah, nice snort. You're welcome for that.
I feel like we're dating the same girl.
Right. So, excuse me again. I only get coffee when I'm here. So, the Boo Hag is a folklore tale in South Carolina. She is, well, I say she, but it's an entity, so we don't know. But for this story, she's a she. We're going to go with that. So the legend behind it is there's some actual truth to this lore. So in South Carolina, there's a lot of African heritage because of people shipped in and all that. So, and I'm going to pronounce it right, I hope, Gulia, after the Creole language spoken there. That's the name of the people. They live along the South Carolina's coast and have a culture there of all their own, one that is well respected by the Southern Carolinas. So the culture is kept and everything. That is where the tale came from. So this Boo Hag supposedly can literally get in your house through the smallest crack in the window and the door and to the window to the wall. And that's how she gets in.
Yeah.
Did you get a giggly streak or something?
You just said to the way.
Yeah, I know. There's a reason.
Come on and raise up.
Right? At least you're not sweating.
Take your shirt off.
No. So, according to this legend, I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of fun here. So, according to this legend.
According to the legend, we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This Boo Hag comes in the middle of the night, and she comes in through windows, she comes in through cracks in the wall, everything. She comes in, and while you're sleeping, she literally sits on your chest and sucks the living life out of you. And not in a way of your character, probably, but just in a way of sucking the life out. Catch up. So, anyways, again, I'm sorry. It's late. We're getting slapped at. So, to give this story proper respect, I will start again. This Boo Hag actually comes in the middle of the night, sits on your chest, and sucks the living life out of you. Not only that, but she actually wears you around the house and parades around the house as you in your skin. And that's why you wake up feeling exhausted, lethargic, like you have no energy whatsoever. That's the lore with it. However, if you do actually want to protect yourself, much like the Fae, you can have some tricks up your sleeve to actually prevent that from happening. One is get a broom, stick it beside your bed. The Boo Hag is that broom she'll find irresistible, must count every straw on that broom.
Interesting.
Yeah, she literally has to do that. It's like a law for them.
So she's OCD.
Yes. Huh.
She's the broom rain man.
No, we're not getting into that.
Just surround your bed with brooms. And
Right?
like
Yep.
shop brooms too. Like
Yeah.
the more big.
And if you want to throw an extra trick at her, put a hairbrush. One of the old time hairbrush
See,
on your
there you
nightstand.
go.
So now she's like, I just got done counting that broom. Now I got to go over here to the nightstand, cut this freaking hairbrush. Great.
Well, then
I don't feel like it has enough bristles.
And
there's going to be multiple.
after 4 brooms, it's got enough.
There's going to be
Fair.
multiple brooms and hairbrushes.
So apparently this Boo Hag has squirrel syndrome and must count everything. So yeah, that's actually one of it. Other than just using you for your energy during the night, doesn't really sound like it's going to kill you. Doesn't really sound like it's malicious with any of it. Just sounds like one of those things that just sucks the energy out of people for whatever reason, because people's energy means a lot to the paranormal.
And then we all go back to watching fun alien movies on TV where people wear Edgar suits.
Yeah, remember that, huh?
I do.
So, but yeah, they apparently in South Carolina, they view this as very, very real. And they do not mess around with it. So everybody's got a broom around their bed. And
So it's very interesting
Hairbrush.
to me. Does that mean that you can like call off work and be like, sorry, man, I got caught by the Boo Hag last night. I'm just too tired. I can't come in today.
Joe's Booth ain't stopped by.
I tell you what, I don't know, but any South Carolinians, let me know.
Try this. Try this and let me know.
Can you call off work because of the Boo Hag?
Boo Hag got me.
If that's so, and I can tell your kids watching me because I got eyes in the back of my head,
That's what I'm saying.
I want to know.
Yeah.
He's entranced by your Booth thing.
Yeah, that's weird.
Now, I wonder if she has her own skin and slips into yours anyhow, or if she's like, you know, one of those anatomy dolls.
I would kind of take a look at it as like Leatherface.
That's disgusting.
Like, where's yours? But
Yeah. Like
Son.
she's got her own, but
Yeah.
she slides you on.
There's
her
actually
anyway.
a couple of like Appalachia
Mhm.
stories about stuff like that.
Mm.
yeah. I mean, you don't get the nickname Boo Hag without, you can't be a gorgeous looker.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean,
Probably
technically, she can be.
Well, beauty is only skin deep.
true. Oh.
All it takes is somebody else's.
Right? Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's Mabel.
Maybe it's
But yeah, no, I know I'm making light of it because I'm slap happy, but no, this story is actually very interesting. It's very real. I thought it was hilarious because of the term Boo Hag. I just thought it was funny because nowadays when they say my boo, it's something completely different. Well, would it be? That's another round.
Maybe
So,
the word
yeah.
is really just two parts. Right now it's your boo. Later on, it's going to be your hag.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's my hag.
Well, you can see that bombastic side eye that just happened.
Bombastic, even. Wow.
So yeah, that's my story for this week. I thought it was good, lighthearted, entertaining, but informative and a little bit scary.
Facts. Facts.
I mean, to be fair, in all seriousness, that kind of folklore from around that area, it's a real thing. And to be fair, if we didn't find it entertaining and exciting, we wouldn't really make light of it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It's true.
Exactly. Yeah, if I found it boring, I wouldn't even talk about it. So
True. No, it actually is kind of interesting to think about some sort of a witchy character who just randomly decides to wear your skin as she dances and prances around your home all night long.
right.
Like that's creepy. That's weird.
Oh, it's
The
wholehearted.
worst part is she gives it back, right?
Right. I'm curious her motivation.
It actually, well, I mean, the lore, so they didn't really talk about much.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Let me comb through it real quick. Let me see if I can.
You have to ask her. Just wake me up at like 1 o'clock in the morning when she's wearing it. I don't...
It doesn't actually say what the motivation is. Yeah, no, there's nothing.
Interesting. The witches among slaves were supposed to be the persons who worked with them every day. They were called old hags or jack-lanterns, supposedly witches, ate supper, blah, blah, blah,
Is that a technical term?
blah, 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 blah. That's, yeah. Mhm. Oh, I see. It says
It's a
in
boo.
Gula folklore, Boo Hags are similar to vampires, but unlike vampires, they gain sustenance from a person's breath. So when she's over you, breathing in your essence, she's stealing your breath, which puts you into a dream state. Still doesn't say what her motivation is, though. So,
I wonder if that's also the origination of the term sweet like baby's breath.
ooh,
Never actually heard that before.
Because if your breath energizes her, right, then you would think the younger, the more energy. You know?
No, I know where you're going with it. That just sent me down a rabbit hole. And I know that, like I said, we're going to have to get a YouTube thing going because our expressions are going to tell the entire freaking story. Because I'm staring at, like, straight ahead, like thinking about this. No, that wouldn't make sense that younger people have more energy. Some would have more energy, so she would probably go after the younger people as older people. But with the older, yes, it went there.
I like that you're still like swirling down the rabbit hole right now.
No, would the elder generation have more energy because the experiences in life gave them more to that energy, rather than a newborn would just be fresh and new.
No, I think what I'm looking at it as, if I was what you would consider an energy vampire, is I'm a Boo Hag.
You're Boo Hag.
I'm
Boo.
seeing some things here. It
But-
says the hag tends to leave their victims alive so that they can use them for G. However, if the victim struggles, the hag may take their skin, leaving them to suffer with no skin. After taking the victim's energy, she will fly off using their skin, but she has to return it before dawn, or she will be trapped in it for it.
Oh, that explains why she gave mine back.
What the shit?
I wouldn't want to be trapped in this room.
I am.
But no, back to the babies versus old people comment.
Yeah.
I'm thinking babies are a lot less notable than old people when you're sucking vitality like an energy vampire, right? And also it'd be like using a full 9-volt battery instead of like one that you lick and you just don't taste it.
I was more meaning of wisdom and power in the energy rather than just untapped.
That's fair.
And you kill off a baby, people are going to pay more attention than killing off an old person.
Yeah, but it doesn't kill you.
Valid.
Didn't say. Oh, yeah, but why would you want to wear a baby skin? That's weird.
I mean, how would a boo hag fit into the baby skin? She's supposedly like a full-size thing.
Unless Wild Bill is out there, but
then maybe the goal is like supple older teenager.
well, you have to throw supple in there.
I don't know. Makes it weird, right? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it's a weird story anyways. We're talking about an entity that literally wears the skin, your skin, and parades around it.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Go there. Just do
No,
it.
I was just going to say, have you ever thought you saw somebody out and then you asked them about it and they're like, I wasn't out. I was home all
Oh,
day yesterday.
dude, it was the boo hag wearing their skin.
Could be a
Were
possibility.
you asleep at work?
No,
All right, so quick story, right?
Okay.
This is hilariousness, okay?
I don't know what we're talking about right now.
Like 25 years ago, okay?
Oh yeah, I'm okay. I know where he's going.
We lived in Worcester, okay?
Okay.
Teresa was at work at Aaron's of Worcester back when it was by the hospital up there before they moved. 4 o'clock rolls around. I'm supposed to go pick up Teresa from work. So I jump in Teresa's truck, driving through the middle of Worcester, driving up Beale Avenue. And I look over and I see Teresa driving that way in her truck. I'm like, oh, well, fuck it. I guess she had the truck. I turn around. I get halfway home before I realize, wait a minute, I'm driving the truck.
Huh.
I saw my wife's doppelganger or Boo Hag.
But
Maybe she was
even-
just taking a nap at work.
But even if I fell asleep at work and the Boo Hag grabbed my skin, how did she have my truck? You had it.
I mean, that's a fair point.
You both are looking at me. I got nothing.
I'm actually looking at your screen.
I maybe she sewed it.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Stitched the likeness of it.
She's like, I like this skin. I'm gonna keep it.
I'm gonna hang on to this one.
That's another topic for another day, though.
Yeah, right.
Doppelgangers. Doppelgangers are all the same.
That'd be a good.
That's an
Or
interesting
changelings.
topic.
Yeah. and-
Doppelgangers, changelings.
Yeah, that'd be a thick sewed.
Yeah. Yeah. That was.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah. All right. All right. That's my story for this week.
Yes, my story.
And I believe that means we're all out. That might be a quick sewed.
I don't know.
It was a quick sewed.
What are we at right now? Like minute wise, where are we? I call mimics. So my son just butted in and said he wants to talk about mimics. So yeah,
I mean,
I think we could do that. I mean, mimics go right along with like all that shit we were just saying. Like,
I think.
don't fucking do that.
I don't know.
you know, like changelings and shit.
Yeah.
Mimics. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it, but that's going to be like a lot.
I know. It's a very thick. So
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe we can save it for a roundtable discussion.
I love that idea.
I like it. Next round table.
Yeah, which
Well, no.
wouldn't Ezra be in on that one?
We got plans for this having up a round table. So yeah, the one after that, Ezra will be in that round table, and then we'll do
So it'd actually be like the May round table.
April
My birthday
No.
month.
round table.
No, we only do round tables at the end of the month. So the next,
There's an end of the month at April.
oh, we do have an end of the month in April.
In our defense, it's past 10:30. It's past your bedtime.
Listen, we're 40 and it's past 10:30. This shit happens. So yeah,
Nah, I just got fucked up on something I wasn't thinking.
April round table.
I was thinking about something totally different.
Changelings mix and I don't remember what the hell else we were talking about now.
We got to an end of the month without a half a month.
Right. There was no end of the month.
It's fine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I'm all storied out for today, boss.
But yes, so South Carolina, you were great.
Thank
Yes.
you, guys. That was
And
fun.
apologies, I wasn't meaning to make light of it. It was, I had to do something because I'm tired.
It's a fun story.
I mean, I
So-
actually
and
really
it's a
love.
fun story.
I love
So-
the Boo Hag story. I think it's a really good one.
Yeah. So yeah, socials.
Yeah. So you could actually find us on X at No Lights Para. That's Para, Para. You can find us on Facebook at No Lights Paranormal. You can find us at No Lights Paranormal at gmail.com. You can also find us on LinkedIn at No Lights Paranormal. And these are all great places to actually interact with us and talk with us. Hop on the Facebook page, post some things, look at the things that I have posted. Generally, when we record episodes, I'm sitting here like, writing out like, oh, well, this was the Boo Hag story and I'll post it, and this was this story and I'll post it. So you're always going to find some really cool shit about the stories that we tell on so basically technically prior to them being posted, since we kind of go live.
Yeah.
So yeah find us, guys. We want to talk. Give me all your stories. I want to hear.
So South Carolina, we had a great night. We love you. We think you're a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fuck with Rob Yaga
Yeah, just don't.
or apparently Joe's Booth Hang.
Nope.
No,
nope.
you can mess with her.